Welcome class 8. Today we are going to start with chapter 6, heat. In the previous class also, in chapter 1, we have learned about melting point and boiling point as well. And we have learned about how the matter and the molecules behave when there is application of heat energy. Alright, so let's learn about melting point. So when heat is applied to a solid substance, it changes into liquid at a particular temperature. This temperature is called the melting point of the substance. This means that if a substance is heated, it directly does not convert from solid to liquid state. It will need a particular temperature at which only it will change into its liquid state. Okay, so that particular temperature is called as the melting point. Next we move on with evaporation. Now the evaporation is also a simple process in which the liquid form changes to the gaseous or vapor state, okay, at any given temperature. So here you can see that when the liquid, over here we are talking about water, when the water gets heated up, okay, its temperature rises until and unless it reaches its boiling point. Before boiling point only it starts to get converted into the vapor state, and this process is called evaporation. So what is boiling point then? Boiling point is the point or a temperature, a particular temperature in which the liquid boils. Okay, so that particular temperature is known as boiling point. You can see that at boiling point, when the liquid starts boiling, the entire process takes place throughout the liquid. Okay, in case of evaporation, it was only on the surface. In case of boiling, it is throughout the liquid. So we will discuss about the differences between evaporation and boiling. So here you can see that in evaporation, the vapor pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so when evaporation takes place, okay, when you apply some heat, the heat energy, because of heat energy, the molecules will vibrate in such a way that it will start getting off of the surface. Means it will leave the surface and it will get evaporated. The molecules will escape the surface and it will move out of the surface. Okay, and in this case the vapor pressure won't be greater than the atmospheric pressure, so the evaporation will be a calm and quiet or slow process. But in case of boiling, vapor pressure will be equal to atmospheric pressure. Okay, so the vapor pressure in the while boiling in the liquid itself, there will be so much of heat energy that it will try to move, the molecules will try to move out of the surface of the liquid. And since the vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure, so there will be bubbles formed. Actually these bubbles are the airs which are trapped inside the liquid, which will try to escape out of the liquid. So bubbles will be formed, and you can see the bubbles forming from the bottom of the liquid, and throughout the liquid the bubbles will be formed and they will try to escape out. Okay, that will be the air escaping out, and also the molecules will escape as a vapor form. So in terms of sentences, how we are going to write the differences are: evaporation, it is a slow process, and boiling is a very fast process. Evaporation takes place only from the surface of the liquid. As I said earlier, only at the surface the evaporation takes place, but boiling occurs throughout the liquid. Evaporation, no bubbles are formed, okay, because the vapor pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure. But in boiling, bubbles are formed throughout the liquid. It occurs at any temperature lower than boiling point. Suppose if we take the example of water, at 60 degrees Celsius, 40 or 40 degrees Celsius, okay, at 85 degrees Celsius, the water will be evaporated, means it will vaporize, but it will only boil when it reaches its boiling point, that is 100 degrees Celsius. So boiling occurs only at boiling point, whereas evaporation takes place at any temperature below the boiling point. All right. Next is latent heat. We have discussed this in the previous class as well. So let's talk about latent heat. Suppose there is a cube of ice, okay, and you are applying heat on that object, on that solid ice. As you apply heat, the next thing that you will notice or observe is that the temperature of that ice cube will increase. Okay, you can take ice or any other solid in which you apply heat, and if you observe that the temperature is also increasing. At a particular point, the temperature of that object or that ice won't increase any longer. You are providing the object with the heat energy, but you will notice if you put a thermometer on that body, then you will see that there is no increase in temperature. So at that point, the temperature remains fixed. But what happens next is, as the temperature stops increasing, the body over here, ice, will start melting, and it will change its state to water. Alright. So there is some amount of heat energy which is used instead of raising the temperature. Now it will be used to convert the solid into a liquid form. So that amount of heat energy which is used not to increase the temperature but is used to change in the state from solid to liquid is called latent heat. So in this case, since it's the latent heat used for melting, we will define this as the amount of heat required to change a fixed mass of substance from its solid state to liquid state without any change in temperature. This is very important. Without any change in temperature is called as the latent heat of fusion. Fusion means it is fusing itself into water. So solid gets liquefied, and that process is actually melting. Okay, and during melting, whatever the amount of heat is required to melt the given amount of fixed amount of quantity of substance will be called as the latent heat of fusion. Okay, so latent heat of fusion of ice is 3.36 into 10 to the power 5 joules per kg, and that is a huge amount of energy. Okay, that is a huge amount of heat energy which ice contains. That's why instead of putting cold water, if you put some piece of ice, if you put some ice cubes in your drinks, then it will make the drinks more cooler than in comparison if you put some water. Compared to that one, the ice will have more amount of heat energy. That means it will take back the heat and it will make the drinks more cooler. All right. So latent heat of fusion of ice, as it takes in heat in order to become water, and while it gets converted from water, it becomes ice, it will give out that amount of heat. Okay, so this latent heat of fusion of ice, this much amount of heat it will take in order to melt from ice to water, and again while solidifying from water to ice, it will give out this amount of heat energy. So this is a both the ways kind of thing. Okay, the heat will be given out as well as taken in. When it is melting, it will take in the heat energy, and when it becomes solid from water to ice, okay, at that time it will give out the heat. Similarly, the next case is, suppose if you have a fixed amount of water, a liquid, okay, and if you apply some heat, then you will see that the temperature of that water is increasing. All right, and at certain temperature you will find that the temperature of that water stops to increase. Instead, the temperature remains fixed. So the amount of heat energy which is being taken or absorbed by water now is being used in order to convert itself into a vapor form. So this energy which is being used in order to convert water into vapor is known as the latent heat of vaporization. So the definition over here will be the amount of heat required to change a fixed amount of substance from its liquid state to its vapor state without any change in temperature is called its latent heat of vaporization. So the latent heat of vaporization for water is 2.26 into 10 to the power 6 joules per kg. So this is the huge amount of energy that the vapor will have, because it takes in that much amount of heat to get converted from water to vapor, and that is the reason the boiling water and the steam, compared to boiling water, steam will cause more burns. Okay, so when if you touch boiling water, or if you happen to touch steam, then steam will cause more burns, because it will have 2.26 into 10 to the power 6 joules per kg amount of heat. Okay, so with that we come to an end of our video. Okay, if there is any doubt, let me know through your mails, and if there is any problem, I'll try to explain it through the mails, or I'll try to make another video in which the explanation part will be done. Thank you.